having a beautiful Sunday. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. If you want to learn a little bit more about me, you can check out those links down below. You can check out kittensweightsandtarot.com. Maybe check out my YouTube members or Patreon. Got lots of goodies happening over there. And today there's a whole new crystal adventures post for my crystal tier. So it seems like they're having a lot of fun with that. It's kind of like the choose your own adventure, except I'm using crystals. So, but anyway, I hope you're having a beautiful Sunday. Let me know what you guys have cooked up for today. Maybe you guys have some plans for this week. Maybe there are some birthdays this week, in which case we'd love to sing happy birthday. But see who's here. All right. Susie, she says she'll be listening mostly as she has to get ready for lunch today. Excellent. And Kayla is here. Hello, hello. Kayla said, happy early birthday to me. Thank you. Thank you. That's right, guys. Tomorrow is my birthday. I guess if you want to get technical, it's going to be tomorrow evening is my birthday. Yes, the anniversary of donning the human suit. Janine is here. Hello. Says very happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. That's right. So tomorrow I will be 43. Sorry, I had to do the math on that. I was like, wait, 1981, 43. Oh, Janine says that her grandson is 1 next week. We're gonna have to sing a happy birthday. Oh my gosh. So yeah, our nephew, we have 2 nephews now. The one nephew, he will be, how old will he be this year? He will be 3, I believe, in October. And then the other one was just born in April. So, so yay, that's exciting. All right, you guys. So today, what do we have cooked up for today? We are going to be doing the weekly reading for today. So we're going to see what's cooked up for us this upcoming week. Anything for us to watch out for, anything for us to meditate on, anything for us to heal, just a heads up of any sorts for this upcoming week. And then we're going to dive into what you guys voted for in the poll. So if you don't know what I'm talking about or you're new to the channel, there is a public poll that I post every Thursday, usually every Thursday, to get a view at what you guys want for the Sunday live chat, like what kind of theme or what do you want me to incorporate into the live chat. So I usually post like 4 different choices, and there was a resounding winner. So there was a public poll. I post that same poll to my YouTube members, and I also post it to my Patreon group. And Patreon and YouTube members had 1 vote coming up, but it didn't quite make it to the winning vote. But the winning vote was to make a cold brew tea. So a lot of us are into making our hot brews, but I like to make sun brew teas or sometimes cold brew teas, which is where you leave it overnight in the refrigerator, or at least for several hours, so that the herbs can infuse into the tea. So we'll get into that in just a bit. But first and foremost, I want to thank everybody who joins us for these live chats. Thank you, everybody who comes in here commenting, even my lurkers. Thank you to everybody who watches the YouTube videos that we put out. And we have another video coming out tomorrow. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, okay, it's not just my birthday, but tomorrow is the 100th channeling episode. So we've done 100 channeling videos now. So we decided for that very special episode, we are going to be channeling the channeling series. So we actually spoke to a very nice Lyran who had information about our channeling series, what we could improve on, what we were doing well on, maybe just some food for thought for channeling in the future. It was really interesting to get a Lyran's point of view on that. So definitely check it out. Plus, he had a lot of really good wisdom that wasn't so much just for, channeling the channel, but just in terms of healing and this whole journey that we go through. So definitely check it out. I think that he had a lot of wonderful things to say. So that channeling comes out tomorrow. I just have to finish, I think, the thumbnail for it, but it's all ready to go. And then, yeah, so thank you to everybody who watches those videos. I also want to thank my YouTube members, so Liesel and Kayla, Nancy, yay! And also my Patreon homies. You guys know who you are. Myrna, Karen, Palu, Liesel, Heather, Lily, Dana, Jamie, Kayla, Surian, Brandy, Jason, and Brian. Mwah! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I have all of my goodies here today. First of all, what are you guys working with this week? Like, what decks are you working with? Maybe you're working with runes. Maybe you're just working on, I want to connect and to my higher self and work on clear downloads. And that's great too. Maybe we could bring that into our weekly reading. So if you want to channel, if you want to do downloads, you want to do runes, you want to do pendulum, you want to bring out your tarot or oracle cards, whatever it may be, let me know what you're working with. Kayla says, I'm excited to learn how to make cold brew tea. Yay! Mike says, I'm sending my love to you. My son has arrived, so I can't be with you. Sorry. Love you loads. Mwah! Have a beautiful time, Mike, and send lots of love to your son. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, it feels like there's a lot of stuff going on. So there's especially around here where it's in the wintertime, it's like kind of dead because all the Phoenicians are gone, all the valley folk, because it gets too cold up here for them. But then in the summertime, when we have the nicer temps up here, all of a sudden it gets crowded, full of all these people. Nah, it's fine. But yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people come to visit up here. And yeah, just a lot of movement, I think, lately. A lot of people going through some dark nights of the soul. There's a lot of like big healing stuff coming on. So I think people are taking a little bit more time for self-care, hopefully, lately, because people are starting to feel things maybe a little bit in their bodies, feeling just different. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself and a few of my friends, but I'm wondering if that's occurring for you guys as well. It's just feeling a little different in the body and just kind of like the intuition working a little bit differently, and maybe having like some old like deep stuff like come back up again in whatever form that may be. But yeah, let me know if you got any of that going going on. Janine says, I think it is the first time I have seen you go live inside. Oh, I would love to take you outside. I really would. I had it planned where we were going to be on the porch, which now I have mosquito netting around the porch, so we're bug free in there, which is kind of cool. And James came up with the idea of gluing magnets to one of the beams of the porch. So that way we could just like, you know, open and close our little mosquito net curtain door and just like magnet it together, except for when the winds are really strong and the magnets fall off. But so we're inside today because it is kind of windy, and it's overcast due to some crim trailing yesterday. So anywho, all right, so let's see. I have a nice little tea here with me. And this tea is actually courtesy of my friend Susie. She sent me some goodies and a lovely birthday card. I believe this is a yogi tea, so it has a little saying on there. It says, what belongs to you shall come to you. Well, let's see what comes to me. But anyway, this is supposed to be a green tea and blueberry, or yeah, green tea and blueberries. So, ooh, that's nice. I think I've had that one somewhere before, and it was really good, and I couldn't remember what was in it or what it was called, but now I know. So now I'm going to write that down. And maybe next time we get some blueberries, I will try to see if I can do a little DIY version myself. So, wow, thank you, Susie. Mwah, love you. And by the way, this was one of the gifts I got for my. I got this little, uh, it's called A Deck of Spells, Hoodoo Playing Card Magic and Root Work and Conjure. So I just started reading this one. It seems rather interesting. It gives a background on what hoodoo is and is not. It talks about what conjuring is, what root work is, kind of where it originates from, who can work with it. It also talks about, with the use of the playing cards, what the different suits mean, what the different numbers, what they could mean, what the court cards could mean. It talks about different divination systems, using playing cards. And then towards the back, I was looking in here, there's also a little bit about spells that you can use with your cards. Just like I was talking about before, using tarot cards for certain spell work, like we were doing an abundance spell. So we had like the 9 of coins and, other abundant type card energies. But you could do the same with playing cards. So yeah, this has been an interesting book. And this is the deck that she sent me. Susie says, love you too. John is here. Hey. Yes, love you, girl. But these playing cards are pretty cool. I mean, it's a very simple box, but I love this little like, I guess not a little poem or a nice little line that's in there that comes with the deck. And I like that it looks like 1111. It says, if you shed tears when you miss the sun, you also miss the stars, by Tagore. Nice, very nice. Okay, so here are my playing cards. Yay! It's all gold foil, by the way, so it's gonna mess with this camera, but so you have your silver suit and your red suit, and it's that black bendy laminate, so you can bend these cards up all you want, and they're gonna retain their shape. Plus, you can get them wet because they're waterproof. So I love me a waterproof deck. So I'm really happy to use that. And maybe I will, you know what? Let's use it for the weekly reading. Heck yeah. Okay, so I'll leave my playing cards here. Let me show you what other decks I'm working with this week. Not sure if I'm going to use them all during this chat. But I have my Star Power Tarot, which is my soul deck. And I figured since it's birthday week, I might as well have my soul deck with me. I'm never far without Wally's World. So Wally's World is there. Oh my gosh, my copy of Wally's World is getting so faded. It used to be as bright as the edges, but it's just that I have it outdoors a lot and I use it a lot outside. So my poor little deck is getting faded. That's okay. It's just well loved. I have like other copies. I have the Blacklight Tarot, which actually was in my dream a few nights ago. I had a dream. I was switching out all the bulbs in here for blacklight bulbs, and that I had busted out this deck and I had started doing a reading, but I don't remember what the reading was. So yeah, James had gotten this for me for my birthday a couple years ago, and I love that deck. We also have Tarot for the Great Outdoors, which actually was another gift from James around Christmas time. So we'll have that this week. The Seeds of Shakti Oracle. And the other two decks are the Desert Illuminations Tarot and Oracle. So, all right. So let's see what cards we want to utilize for this weekly reading. First and foremost, we will be using those playing cards. So we have those. Kayla says, it's really sweet, Susie. Susie said, Wally. And she was saying, what a cool dream. Yeah, I've had some interesting dreams lately, but then they're just gone in an instant, when usually I retain the memory of my dreams pretty well, like in vivid details if I watched a movie. And sometimes I am watching myself in my dream. But lately it's been really hard to remember them, but all I'm left with is a feeling of I must have done a lot in my dreams last night, I even woke up with like a bruise on my thigh. I'm like, wow, I must have like gotten really really dangerous in my dream last night. Okay, so let's see. We'll have my playing cards. Let's use the Star Power Tarot as well. F yeah. Okay. Okay, so what do we have cooked up for this week? Actually, I want to hear from Wally. I want to hear a theme. Just just all the information that we could get for this upcoming week. And remember that if there's anything you hear in this reading, since it is a general reading, but anything you hear and you're like, wow, that doesn't, I don't know if that's what I want to have happen, or that's, not looking forward to that, then we know that with these heads up, we can always change our timeline. We can always change our reality. Even though we're all together and you're literally viewing me right now, I'm literally tapping into your energies right now. We're all in different realities. The reality that I'm creating through my perception and how I'm witnessing it, how I'm reacting to it, taking it in, of course, is different than others, just like your reality would be different from mine. So we always have the power to change that reality anytime. It's only our ego that makes us feel powerless and says, that's just how it's got to be, or that's the way things always are, or that's physics. It's like, well, if that's the reality you want to believe in, then that's the reality it will be. All right. Before I pull that card, let me hold on. Just I have to latch this door over here because of the wind. Alrighty, and we're back. Johnson, nice. I'm Lovejoy. Says you have the best laugh. Well, thank you. My stepmom, she said that was something she had to get used to when she was first getting to know the family, because she was dating my dad. And she says, why does everybody in this family laugh so loud? She's like, you guys have the most boisterous, biggest laughs ever. And we're like, well, I mean, who doesn't want to laugh? Okay, so let's pull a card here. Let's see what our Wally Walito has for us. Okay, and then I'm going to keep that card face down. And I'm going to pull we'll pull a couple Star Power Tarots. And then I would also like to pull a playing card. Ooh. And I like this deck. It just feels witchy. Maybe it's the colors and everything, but oh, I'm Lovejoy. Says it's my first time here. All right, well, welcome. I hope you enjoy your time here. Susie said, giggle girl, George's nickname for Tara. And she's saying that she's glad that I'm Lovejoy is here. All right, so let's see. First card, turning it over. Oh, it's the Parque del Monstre. Okay, so Parque del Monstre is in, let's see, it's in Tuscany. It's in Italy, basically. We had to go pretty far by train to get there, because we were in Viterbo when we were staying there. But anyway, cool background on this place. Okay, so Parque de Monstre, which is the Park of Monsters. So there was this very wealthy, eccentric man. I love this story, by the way. This wealthy, eccentric man. And this is way back in the day, let's say 1600s, 17 to 1800s. And he was in love with this woman. But this woman was like, she wasn't going to be, razzle dazzled by all of his money and wealth and his place in society. So he was trying his best to win this woman's love, to woo her, to get her to notice him, to maybe fall in love with him. And so he would buy her all these things, and she was just like, meh. Hey, Shadowland. She says, hey, guppies. So eventually he decides, I'm going to build this whole park for her. So he employs all these people to bring in these sculptures and to sculpt these things out of rock. So it was all kinds of things. It was almost like an Alice in Wonderland type environment that he was creating. So he created this space. So he have this guy's mouth, and you go in there and there's kind of like an altar in there. So it's kind of like, ooh, that's interesting. but there was also like a ginormous bathtub, like a bathtub, but for a giant. So it's massive. You can fit like, I don't know how many families in this bathtub. There was also a house, but it's one of those optical illusion houses where you think you're walking straight, but it's kind of like you're walking up on the ceiling, and it's like tilted in such a way it totally disorients you. And he built that for her because she was really interested in spirits and mediumship, and he thought that when you threw yourself off equilibrium, that maybe you could get more into a trance state. So he built that for her as well. He built all these massive statues, and just it was a really fun park. He even built a ginormous mausoleum so that maybe someday they could get married and everything. And well, long story short, she eventually did fall in love with him. Like when the park was revealed that this was for you, that he literally spent years and years and years building this park for her, then she was like, okay, this man is committed. So they did end up getting married, and both of them are buried in that mausoleum in the park. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a little background on this. I thought it was really nice. So anyway, let's tap into what this card actually has to say for us. We have Wally photoshopped right there. He's just upside down and asleep outside of this, I don't know, stairs to this monster mouth. Okay, so let's tap into this. What do we have waiting for us this week? Mm. Hello, shadow self. All right. So I know what everybody's super excited for. um, it feels like maybe not for all of us, but for many of us, we have an opportunity. This is not punishment. We have an opportunity to stand face to face with our shadow self, our full on ego shadow self this week. I know that doesn't sound thrilling, but the payoff is that you have a massive opportunity for healing. So, if we can face that shadow self, realize that it is just a shadow self, it's just an aspect of me, it's not fully who I am. I have the ability to heal that shadow self. It defines itself based on the past programming, mother and father, our earth suit. When we look in the mirror, it defines us based on our cultural heritage. It loves labels. It loves to hold on to the past, and it loves labels. Well, we have an opportunity this week to take a look at that ego self, take a look at the labels that we've placed ourselves into, the boxes that we've put ourselves into, perhaps even the boxes that we've put ourselves into spiritually speaking. Because even in the spiritual community, somebody might ask, you know, what are your gifts, or what is it that you do? And we have to think about a box I got to put myself in. That I'm a medium, so I'm in this little box over here, or I do astrology, so I'm in this box over here. When the I guess a more universal, bigger picture is that we are all one. So we are all of those things. You know, to say I'm only this would be restricting, because you are multidimensional. You are many things. So you could say I have an interest in this, but of course that is a little less triggering, because then it's not associating it with it boots on the ground, like, oh, that's me, oh, you know, but more, oh, okay, I see that outside myself. That is an aspect of me. And with that, you know, higher perspective, more removed point of view, that omnipotent point of view, I can change that. I can change my reality. I can work on that. So it seems like we do have that opportunity this week, which is fabulous. All right. Let's see who else is here. Oh, Lily is here. KDS Worker is here. She says, hi, everyone. Had no power last week and ran over with clients. Hope all is well. It is beautiful over here. Well, I mean, I wish I could have you guys outside, but um, Janine says, I'm going to Glastonbury for the first time on Tuesday. I'm looking forward to the peace and exploration on my own. Glastonbury. Are you going to see Glastonbury tour? That would be really awesome. That sounds like a really amazing time. I'm so excited for you. Lily said, OMG, I just got this download. Really? Okay. Okay. All right. So, Lily Lily and I chat a lot, and I think we're, like, pretty simpatico when it's coming to our downloads now. That's crazy. I love it. KDS says, ego separation is so very important. I struggle at times more than others, but this ability is critical, I think, to ascending and evolving. I think we all struggle in our own ways. And, I think that maybe you should definitely see tomorrow's channeling, because that Lyran that was talking for our 100th episode, the Lyran, he had a lot to say for people who feel that they struggle more than others or feel inadequate at some times. I think that he had a lot of really good advice, and I don't know. I just thought what he had to say was very uplifting. Shadowland says, doing some house cleaning before my sister gets in. Ooh, where's she coming from? Is she staying for long? Okay, so Lily will tell me later. Shadowland says, I'm wanting to make some sailor's valentines. Ooh, how do you make a sailor's valentine? I'm curious. All right, Susan's going to be listening in the background. KDS says, congrats on 100. I will definitely watch tomorrow's video. Yeah, I'm like, holy schmoly, 100 channeling episodes. That's crazy. All right, so let's see what else we had cooked up for this week. This time we're looking at the star power, and we have the Hanged Man. And we also have the Two of Swords. So it definitely goes along with what Wally was saying here. That's kind of like going into the mouth, going into the boca, into la boca. But it's a going inwards time, but the way that we might witness our shadow self or our ego self this week could be through another person. It could be just remembering who we were, like something comes up or people come into your life where you kind of like remember your past. I've had that the past like a week and a half or so. I've had quite a few people actually from the same time period in my past, which has been interesting. And it's just been my college years. So between the ages, I would say, of like 19 and 24, there's been uh, like four people just kind of pop in randomly, and so I'm being reminded of like who I used to be and who I used to be with different people. That I used to be like this chameleon. Like I was always kind of a different person depending on who I was with. Now I'm just me, which is great. I'm glad I've done that healing. But it's also interesting to see how far we've come. So it might be something like that for you this week, where you have people maybe coming up from your past, and like it brings up all this stuff that maybe you thought you healed, and perhaps you did, but it's a different layer of it. It's a different aspect. It's that, hanged man. It's, looking at it from a different point of view. And now that a lot of you have been doing tons of healing, you have the ability to go inwards. You have the ability to remove yourself sometimes from a situation and try to see an alternative perspective. And so that's the perspective that you're able to have this week, and always, not just this week, but you're always able to have that varied perspective. What does it look like from the ego? But what does it look like from the higher self? What does it look like from somebody else's eyes? What would it look like from the deified version of you or the ascended master version of you? So just some food for thought, I think, this week. And then in our playing cards, we have the King of Spades, and I find this very similar card to be much the ego in this equation. So the ego's there is like, but I'm you, and this is all you'll ever be. And you're like, yeah, but the thing is, when I leave this earth, you kind of stay here, which means that you weren't really fully me in the first place. Because if there's an aspect of you that doesn't travel on to wherever you think that other land is, whether you call it, the Summerlands, some, many witches and pagans may call it. Some people call it heaven. Whatever you feel like that other place is, or maybe just 4D, you want to call it. Um, yeah, if the ego doesn't come with you, if all of that stuff stays here on earth, then possibly that wasn't all of you. It might have been part of your earthly self, but that's not you in your entirety. The real you, that's the one that's that's the one that leaves here. That's the one that either ascends or passes away. That's the real soul, the real you. So keep that in mind for this week. All right, good times. um, I'd be curious to see what else maybe you guys got for this week's reading. If you got any downloads for this week, or maybe you want to pull some cards. Shadowland said, oh, that her sister's from Florida. She's going to be here till the rest of the family, including her and her family, go to Mexico. All right. I haven't been to Mexico in a while, maybe like 6 years, 5, 6 years, maybe. um, it's been a hot minute. John says definitely hell, but not traditional Christian Catholic hell. Yeah. um, well, well, I hope you're not saying that you're going off to hell. I don't think so. Katie, it says, I feel like a witness to my mother drop her ego during the dying process. Possibly, we all, I mean, everybody's on such a different journey, and how people remove their ego is, I think, very individual. Some people have it removed as soon as they're born, prophecy, like year two, they're like, okay, no more ego, or they never had an ego, or they never allowed the ego in. Some people, yeah, maybe while they're passing away, and in that dying process, they could, maybe gain that broader perspective and look at their life a little bit differently. Of course, we don't have to be in the dying process, I feel, to remove that ego, but I definitely feel like there's different ways to do that. So KDS Worker, I feel like that is probably something special, that you got to not only be there with your mother and help her in her transition, but also to be able to witness that and see if that's something that you want to help employ in your own life. How did she look at life differently? How did she maybe change her attitude, or how she viewed herself? That can give you a lot of insight into maybe how you can help your own self. So I think that's a beautiful gift that she left you. um, let's see here. Whoa, I missed some comments here. Silver Star, hey, says hello, loves, was lurking. Now I have free hands. Grand Rising. Hello, all. Well, hello, my sister. Katia says March 2006, everything shifted after a Reiki session. Wow. Yeah. I would say 2006 was a big year. That was a big year for me too. I made some huge shifts. I moved from Orange County to San Diego. It was a whole thing. John says that was what I was saying, purification in an expansive way. Ah, I see. Shadowland says you can Google or find out how to make sailor's valentines here on YouTube. I will definitely do that. Thank you for letting me know there was such a thing out there. Katia says, I saw glimpses of her throughout her life. I saw more of it in her last 7 months. Wow, how beautiful. And John says, old pagan, old souls kind of way. Exactly. Katie says, I always say that my most memorable times were while she was in the hospital. That sounds awful, but we were closer than ever. No, I totally understand. And there have been instances in my life where I've been able to have a relationship like I never have had before with certain people, because of something traumatic that had come up, because there was a huge life event. Either they were in the course of dying, or there were people that had were going through a difficult illness. And I feel like some of those times we were able to open up in a way we never had before, because the illness or the process that was going on um, made it so that type of communication and open-heartedness was available to us. And so sometimes when we look at things as bad, they're not always bad. They're more gateways for closer connection and deeper healing, I feel. We don't always have to experience it that way, but I feel like those are very special moments. So I understand. Um, Silver Star says, Tara, I'm in a 12 year, so I feel that hanged man card. Dude, guess what card I'm in? I'm in the tower year, baby. Susie says, Silver Star, love you in the background today, getting ready for lunch. Katia says, I feel a shift with my sister too, with the cancer. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I think we're all feeling it in various different ways. And well, we just have to embrace this time. I know that sometimes we want to rush through the uncomfortable process, but when we look back on it, it was the journey through that process of being uncomfortable that we learned the most about ourselves, that we were most present with ourselves and the people around us that we love most, and that we learn the most about them. And so it might actually be the most joyous part of the whole thing. And so maybe that old saying that it's the journey, not the destination, that really rings true, I think, in this instance. Okay. Well, speaking of the journey, I do want to bring you guys in on making a cold brew tea. Um, and actually, I guess the way we could work with this cold brew tea is we could look at this as different aspects of ourself going into a glass jar like this, and we're just taking some time to chill, just to let the energies just infuse into us, these experiences that we're having, whatever is going on in our life, and just let it soak, let it sit. Feel the medicine that's in each of these people that we encounter, whether or not we get along with them. Look at their medicine. Look at the medicine of the situations that we find ourselves in. Even random things like the turn signal bulb on the Jeep is dead. So I thought, okay, I'll go buy another bulb. Well, the person who had it before me changed out everything to LED harnesses and lighting. So I can't just put a regular bulb into an LED harness. I have to actually buy new LED bulbs. Turns out they're super expensive, like almost $100 for a pair. Um, but I had to look at the medicine of the situation. And that's something that we can do here. I could look at it from my ego and be like, oh, it costs this amount of money, and money is precious, and money, everybody's got some sort of money shadow. And so that comes up. And also like, I want to curse the Jeep, or, all the stuff our ego could go into if we wanted to go that route. Or we could say, okay, this is happening for a reason. And the turn signal is all about turning left because it's on the driver's side. So, what does the left represent? The left represents the divine feminine. So, is there something going on in my divine feminine that I'm not looking at, where the signal isn't working? Like I'm not catching the signs, I'm not seeing the synchronicity. What am I not hearing about myself? And so there's medicine in that. And so in that, I could, instead of saying, F you, Jeep, I'm like, hey, thanks, Jeep, who is also me, for showing me that I haven't been seeing some sort of sign or signal, or that perhaps in my next meditation, I got to go into the divine feminine and see what's up. um, let's see, let's go back here. Silver Star saying, Cadius hugs. John says, I actually had a dream that was connecting to my pagan roots. My mom was telling me her experience taking place around a funeral/reunion. The first animal I encountered on my way out of my home was a raven. Raven was in Walking World. Wow. Interesting. I think we're really tapping into a lot of our past life, but also some really big shift. I think is coming up for each and every one of us. So, the waking world, but the raven was also in the walking world. um, but yeah, very interesting, fascinating. Silver Star's like comfortable. What's that? I know. High five. When is my life comfortable? Not too often. Nancy's here. Says, sorry I'm late. I didn't get the notice. Hello, Tara, James, and everyone. Hello, hello. Um, John said, yeah, I agree. Well, let's go ahead and let's grab a mason jar or just a big jar. I don't know, it could be an old Prego jar, which I do keep all my Prego jars. And I have so many jars. I like to soak them so the labels fall off, and then I clean them up and reuse them. But today I have a bougie, fancy like mason jar, and we are going to be doing our little cold brew tea. Now, let's imagine that this jar is us. This little earth body that we have, this is a vessel, and we are going to fill that vessel with magic, aka soul. And we're going to let that magic infuse into the water, which is us. We're mostly made of water, right? Infuse into that watery essence. And then we're totally going to transform this vessel, because when you take that essence out of there, all that we're left is this empty vessel. Kind of like when we leave Earth, right? The best part was what was on the inside. So, nice metaphor for us, right? Okay, so I have a couple books here. I don't know if you guys want to check these out. This one is called Herbal Medicine, and this is Diane Dinkins Buckman's Herbal Medicine, The Natural Way to Get Well and Stay Well. Actually got this at the thrift store. And Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. I want to get like the magical side or explanation of the herbs that I'm using, and then we can get the 3D medicinal side. Okay, before we get into that, I'm gonna have a little bit more of my tea, which is still blazing hot. I appreciate. Okay, so here are the herbs that I have. We have calendula, and calendula is also known as marigold. So sometimes connected to the dead, but also connected to solar energy, our solar plexus. And since we are getting closer and closer to midsummer or Litha or the summer solstice, then I want to utilize some of this calendula. So we have that. I'll just put that right there. I also have some white cedar twigs. I'll probably end up using all of the rest of this in our little potion that we're making. I also have rose hips. So have some lovely rose hips there. And a lot of these rose hips came from my roses in San Diego. Um, it takes a while to get a rose hip. it's after our little rose has passed away. All right, and then we have hibiscus. So, lovely hibiscus. Okay. Silver Star says, always the birds that start communicating, I noticed. Exactly. She says, when we wake up, I should say. Yeah, I mean, the birds start going off just before the sun rises. So I usually wake up around then, like the time between dark and light, which is technically my power time, according to Mayan astrology, because I am Akbal. I am the first sunrise of this earthly incarnation, or at least the sign that I'm born under. And so they say that the power time is just before sunrise, and just before, and just after sunrise. So kind of like right there, they're like in between times of like midnight and daytime. But yeah, Cicadia says, where do you get these ingredients if you live in the city? Definitely, I was going to say, check your local Yellow Pages. What year am I in? Yellow Pages, huh? Okay, no, I'm sure if you did a Google Maps search of maybe apothecaries or herbal businesses, they might have you might have something like that where you live, because in Sholo here, when we drive into town, there's a place called Sunshine Herbs. Basically it's somebody's house, and then they have like this little like granny flat that they converted into like a little business. And so they sell all different types of like bulk herbs, and they have like senior citizen discounts on like Thursdays and Fridays. So there's always a ton of senior citizens, because that's what the town I live in is, mostly a retirement town. So I am probably the youngest person here by a lot. James and I both. Um, but you might have something like that near you. If you don't have something in the city like that, you can purchase them online. And there are a couple of trusted places that I like. I like, oh, let's see, Mountain Rose, or Rose Mountain. It's either Rose Mountain or Mountain Rose herbs. They're really good. Frontier Herbs, or any of those co-ops. Sometimes you can find them on Amazon, but I look for um, those businesses, but on Amazon. So I don't just take like random, like, any random Amazon business. So yeah, Frontier Herbs I think is pretty good. Mountain Rose Herbs, or Rose Mountain Herbs, are pretty good. Um, but yeah, see if there's anything local to you first, and then that way you don't have to wait for like shipping and everything like that. So all right, so what I want to do with this particular tea is I am looking to bring in the feeling of summer, the feeling of a connecting to our own solar plexus energy, our own soul energy, our own lights, and helping us to see through the times that may appear dark in our lives. So that's what I'm setting my intention for with this particular tea. And I have a special little spoon that I only use for tea making. And we will put these together. Oh, you know what I forgot? And I can go grab it real quick. I forgot my mortar and pestle. I have to break open these rose hips. um, Let's see. Nancy says, there's a lesson for us from birds. No matter what the weather or season, they're always sing upon awakening. They sure do. And the blue jays, they don't seem to care about much. They're like, it's raining, meh, I'll sing. There's no sun, meh, I'll sing. There is sun, and we'll sing. um, Silver Star says, I just noticed there were certain events in my life that I chalked up to coincidence when I was younger. As I got older, I realized the birds always were giving messages. I just needed to listen. That's beautiful. I realize that too. Like, now living up here, when our neighbors are the birds and the animals, and you're really listening to them, like we really start to pay attention. Like, what are they saying? Because they're sometimes alerting you to something. They're saying, hey, there's a pack of dogs out there. Don't go that way. Or, hey, friend, there's a storm coming. Maybe you want to get inside. Or sometimes it's, hey, have you meditated today? So they always have something to say. And something that I heard from Juniper Titmouse yesterday, which they have the most beautiful song, I think. The little titmouse was like, you think that we're singing the same song over and over. Like, it sounds like we're a little broken record, like name and location, name and location. They're like, but we're a lot more advanced than that. They said there's parts of our song that are beyond what a human ear can hear. You can definitely hear us telepathically, energetically, soul to soul. You can connect that way. But if you're just trying to listen to us with your 3D ears, then all you're going to get is a broken record. Basically, they said, then you'll never truly understand what our full message was. But they said, maybe that's some food for thought. How much do you want to rely on your ego senses, your 5D senses, when the most important sense is our intuition? Yet that is the sense that gets told that you're not supposed to listen to. And I'm pretty sure that that was on purpose. Any sort of, education in school, stuff that's passed down in families is like, don't listen to your gut, don't listen to your intuition. That's all hogwash. That's all malarkey. When in actuality, that is the most important thing. That is the most real thing that we have. Our five senses, those are the most easily manipulated senses that we have. So the birds are like, why on earth would you just try to listen to us with your earthly ears? Listen to us with your telepathy. Listen to us with your energy. And you'll get a whole smorgasbord of information. So I was like, Heck yeah, I'm still learning to tap in, but okay, I'm gonna go grab a mortar and pestle. I will be right back. Here we go again on. Ding, ding, like the only word I've ever known. All right, I got you. Okay, and we're back. Here we go. A nice mortar and pestle. Let's see. Nancy says crows fascinate me. They are so very intelligent. They have this intricate communication. Watching and listening, I have found after a while, I understand their alerts. Love them. Yeah, dude, ravens and crows. I, I definitely. I mean, I listen to all the birds, but I feel like the ravens here really take care of the forest. So they're always sending communication to all the animals here. So they give them a heads up about everything. So if Raven is speaking, I'm like, hmm. All right. Okay, so we have all our goodies. So feel free to either just take note, watch this back later, or maybe it just gives you ideas of what you could make yourself. You don't necessarily have to use the herbs that I'm using. Definitely use things that are more, I think, local is better as the you're more connected to the energy. But yeah, we'll go through this. Silverstar says John brought up birds. Sorry, I went on something else. Hey, no worries. That's how my brain works. Okay, so I am going to actually I want to crush up the rose hips first. And I'm just going to take a small handful of rose hips, which are about 2, 4, 6, 8. Oh, 8. Yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, let's do 8. I like the number 8. So I have some rose hips right here. So what you want is actually on the inside. That's where the vitamin C is jam packed. This has more vitamin C than an orange or even a lemon. So they're excellent for that. They also have a ton of antioxidants, but you do have to be aware that when you break these open, there's these very fine hairs that are on the inside. And if you're somebody who suffers from like a very sensitive throat, sometimes the little hairs can be aggravating to the throat. So you may want to strain those out. I don't normally really have a problem with them, so I don't really strain them out. So it seems fine for me. But I guess to err on the side of caution, you probably want to strain those out of your drink if you're going to use rose hips. Okay, so I am going to crush these babies up without blasting seeds everywhere because all the seeds are in here, all of the rose seeds. But that's all the good stuff. Okay. So there we go, crushed up rose hips. All right, we'll put this off to the side. And next, I want to add just a little hibiscus to our thing here. So I think we'll just add maybe just a little bit, just like that, of hibiscus, maybe a little bit more. Okay. So we'll do that. And then I want to add some calendula. So let's actually add quite a bit of calendula. So this one I might have to use my hands for because it kind of sticks together. So I'm going to go with two big helpings of calendula because I love the taste of calendula or marigold. All right, and put this off to the side. Okay, and so now I'm going to take my cedar twigs, also known as fuchsia twigs. Okay, and I want to pour some of these in here. Okay, maybe I didn't use all of them, but it was pretty close. I think I need to go down to sunshine herbs and I need to get some more cedar twigs. All right, so now we have something that looks like this. We're just gonna mix it up like so. Just take our little spoon and do a little mixy. Ooh, what beautiful summery colors. Especially if we were outdoors, that would look beautiful. Okay. Silver Star says, when my first husband passed, one crow flew down on the balcony, squawked at me, then took off. That was a significant awakening. Wow. Wow, dude, I really feel like, I don't know if like people work with birds. I mean, like not everybody works with birds, but like for people who are listening, birds do have a lot of wisdom to share. Okay, I am going to point this camera down now. So sorry if I won't see your comments. I just want to show you what's going on. By the way, those are my seedlings. So I'm trying to grow stuff here, which by the way, our zucchini and our crookneck squash is going off. Our green onions didn't make it. But you know, that's just the way it goes. We only had 3 that sprouted, and so those 3 didn't make it. But the squash is going well. So I'm going to go to Tractor Supply since I have a birthday coupon there. I'm going to be going to Tractor Supply and buying one of those horse feed bins or buckets, and I'm going to replant my squash, and that'll be my raised garden, my raised bed garden. Put some fencing around it so the cows around here don't eat it. But yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on and why we're going to use these particular herbs. What is their magic, but also what is their 3D healing? So let's talk about the magical stuff first. Okay, so calendula. Let's go and find calendula. Let's learn a little bit about that. It's probably under marigold in here. Sometimes you got to know the different names of these plants, that what they go by, because not everybody likes to use the same vernacular. There's mallow, mandrake, marigold. Haha, here we are. Okay, so marigold, also known as bride of the sun or calendula, it is a masculine herb connected to the sun and fire. That's why we're using it in this particular summer or soul cold brew blend. It's connected with protection, prophetic dreams, legal matters, and psychic powers. Ooh, it says that marigolds picked at noon when the sun is at its hottest and strongest. Many believed strengthened and comforted the heart. Well, that's perfect for our blend then. Okay, so we also have hibiscus in here. So let's take a look at hibiscus. Okay, so hibiscus, oh, I also have a little bit of extra on hibiscus here. It's a feminine energy connected with the planet Venus, and it connects to the powers of lust, love, and divination. Anytime we can infuse some love into something, I'm going to go ahead and put it into whatever I'm eating, drinking, crafting. It says the flowers of red hibiscus are brewed into a strong red tea, which is drunk for its lust-inducing powers. This drink is forbidden to women in Egypt for this very reason. Oh, really? Okay, rose hips. Let's take a look at rose hips. Okay, so it would be under rose. Okay, rose, a very feminine energy, also connected with the planet Venus, so some more love being infused into this. Its powers are love, psychic powers, healing, love, divination, luck, and protection. We could all use a little bit of that. And lastly, I want to look at our cedar twigs. So what does the cedar do, magically speaking? Every time I pass some herbs, I'm like, ooh, I got to use that next. Okay, cedar. All right, also a masculine energy. So we had a nice balance of masculine and feminine herbs within this particular cold brew. Also connected with the sun, which is why we're using it in this way, and the element of fire. Its powers are healing, purification, money, and protection. Abundance, baby. It says the smoke of cedar is purifying and also cures the predilection of having bad dreams. Twigs of the cedar are burned and smoldered or made into incense. It says to heal head colds, they are placed upon the hot rocks and sweat baths for purification by some American Indians. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, our native friends around here use juniper, also known as, oh, there was the word. What was the word? Oh my gosh, why can't I remember that word? It's like when I just when I'm about to talk about something, that's the only time I don't remember the word. But anyway, so the gat, gat. Yeah, so gats. That's the Diné or the Navajo word for like using juniper for purification, because the ash is very um like it's very I can't even talk today. Hold on, what is happening? But it's considered very special because they don't just toss the juniper ash when it's used. Like after the purification ceremony, after you've used it to clear your home or clear yourself of an illness, the ash, it being very pure, they considered, is then used in particular foods. So they often use the juniper ash in making anything with corn. And that is the way that they were able to get 100% of the nutrients out of the corn. And that's why, because the people who came here were like, how are these native peoples surviving? Because it seemed like everything they were surviving on, like corn and beans and things like that, that it wouldn't be enough to sustain them, that they should be starving to death. Well, the thing is, when they use juniper ash, they get every nutrient possible out of whatever it is that they're eating. So they were not going hungry. They're actually in a better nutritional shape than the people who came by being like, shouldn't these people be starving? So, all right. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this together. Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to read our 3D reasons for using these particular herbs. Okay, let's see if we can find anything for rose, or actually calendula in here. Page 81, eh? Okay. 81, eh? All right, 81, here we go. Nope, that's not it. It just says see other page, 179. Ah, so here's a way to use marigold or calendula is for varicose veins, actually. It says bathe in marigold petal tea and apply a marigold petal poultice and or compress to the veined area. Cover with wool or plastic to keep wet. Drink tea of marigold leaves. Interesting. I did not know that. All right. Let's see if we have anything on cedar. This one does not have cedar. That's why I have so many herb books, because not one herb book has all of the herbs I'm looking for. So I have to like look through multiple books. But let's see if we have anything for rose or hibiscus. Rose hip. Ah, okay, 207. Let's go to page 207. All right. There is something you can make a rose hip and blackberry cordial. It's a restorative. So it says take rose hips, blackberry cordial, and some boiling water. And apparently it's just very good for your overall health. Interesting. All right. Well, good to know. Good to know. Let's go ahead and put this in our glass jar now. And I'm actually going to cover this all with some nice cool well water. And we are going to let this steep overnight. So I won't be drinking this today, but I will be drinking it tomorrow. And it's okay if you don't get to it to the next day. They tend to do well for at least 2 to 3 days in the refrigerator. And it just gets more and more infused. So I think it gets tastier and tastier. Let me just, hold on, talk a little bit about it in just a moment. Something I wanted to say on that. Okay. All right, so we have all of our herbs in here. Let me just quick get some water and then let me chat about this. Water, water, water. Okay. All right, we're gonna give this a little stir. Just mix it all up in there. So yeah, I use a little mesh, like wire strainer, and I usually put that strainer over whatever drinking glass I have, and then I pour this in so that way the strainer catches all the herbs. You could reuse the herbs for one more batch of tea. And this is about, how many cups is this? This is 3 cups. So this is 3 cups of water or 3 cups of tea. Just know that your next batch is going to be half the potency. So it's not going to be very potent. It's going to be pretty light, but I always try to get at least one more drink out of the herbs that I use, and then I leave them out underneath a tree for the forest to just kind of soak up. Okay. Just make sure those herbs stay in there. You stay here. You be a part of the water. All right, there we go. Excellent. Let's put our little topper on. If you feel like you need to label this because somebody in your family might accidentally drink it, not that it would be bad for them, but maybe at least they should know what they're drinking. Or if you want to put the date because you're a busy person and you might forget when you made this, you could also do that. But I'd say anytime you open the fridge, just maybe give it a little shake and then just leave it there to infuse overnight. So give it 24 hours. You could give it 6 hours, but I feel like the longer the better. So yeah, you could give it 24 hours, and then like I said, once you strain out the herbs for your drink, you can put the herbs back in, fill it back up with water, and you would have a very mild tea the second go around. But whatevs. So yeah, I think this is going to be really good actually. And if you wanted to, you could add this tea with like a slice of orange, and maybe a couple of maybe infused ice cubes. You can also infuse ice cubes with like watermelons or strawberries, and maybe you want to put that in your glass with a little bit of your tea. I think that would be really good. So I think any sort of berry, any sort of fruit, so yeah, oranges, maybe berries like strawberries, raspberries, blackberries would be really good with this. So yeah, and that is your cold brew tea. So you might be wondering what are the benefits of doing cold brew versus a hot infusion tea? Well, there's a couple of things. So a hot tea, like I'm drinking over here, um, if you're like, especially if you're drinking like a black tea, a lot of you'll taste a lot more of the tannins. There's a little bit more of a hearty or a bitterness that you get out of the herbs, and not so much they're more floral notes or they're more subtle flavors. If you're looking to extract more of the sweetness or more of the gentle full bodiedness of different flowers and herbs, then I would say cold brew is the way to go. If you've ever had hot green tea and then cold green tea, they almost taste like two different teas, but it's the exact same herb, it's the exact same plant. It's just one has been infused with heat and the other infused with cold. And so with heat, it's like it's blanching it. It's like a shock to the plant. So you get its most potent properties. Whereas when it's a cold brew, you still get a lot of the potent properties, but you get a lot of the stuff that gets, I guess, quote unquote, burned away in boiling water. And so that's a lot of the antioxidants. That's a lot of the vitamins and nutrients. Like I said, sometimes the smells, the fragrances from certain flowers, you can really smell them in a cold brew tea because they haven't been blanched in the hot water. Um, so yeah, if you're looking for things that are a little bit more floral or lighter, sweeter, has maybe way more vitamins and minerals, then maybe you want to go cold brew. It's a very nice extraction. I think a very gentle extraction to do with plants, and something our native ancestors did as well. So ta-da! This is our sun tea, our sun cold brew tea for summer. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Um, let's go back here and see what you guys is talking about. Silver Star was saying fire and Venus energy. John said, thank you for sharing. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking. Hey, no worries. Silver Star said, it's 11:11, make a wish. John says, I was looking into the 4 sacred herbs a year ago. Cedar is a powerful healer. Yes, it is. It's definitely why many tribes that lived where there was cedar and cedar was abundant, they definitely used it for their purification. But since many of our tribes around here, like the Hopi, the Navajo, or the Diné, the Apache, and our Anasazi or Atul friends out here, they went with juniper because juniper is what is most abundant out here. And John said vitamin C is very heat sensitive. Yes. Yes, it is. And Kayla says it looks delicious. Well, I'll give you guys the scoop tomorrow. I'll tell you how it tastes. But so yeah, okay. That made me want to have a little bit more tea here. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Thank you, Susie, so much. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If anybody would like to do super chats or super stickers, now would be the time. And then we'll go into our channeled guided meditation. Yay! And so let's see, what do I have cooked up today after today's live chat? Well, after today's live chat, I'm going to jump onto the computer and I have to make a thumbnail for tomorrow's 100th episode, channeling episode. So, channeling the channeling series with the help of a Lyran friend. So, definitely check that out tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to work on I'm so far behind because we've been really busy in the shop, which has been great. I've appreciated all the readings and everything that's been going on. But I haven't done my June planner yet, where I write down like my schedule, like all the readings I have to do or packaging we have to do for like Desert Cauldron. So yeah, I want to get to that because I want to decorate my birthday, I think that's it for today. I think that's what we're working on. It's just video stuff and calendar planner stuff, getting ready for tomorrow, birthday. And so what I have planned for birthday is that James and I are going to go on some hikes tomorrow. I want to be so far out of my ego that I'm on another planet. So I'm going to have the help of a little green friend to help me out with that. So I, can be on my other planet while I enjoy my birthday, hiking and maybe doing some meditation. Obviously doing some meditation. And then I want to go to Flagstaff for some hiking. But I want to fix the blinker in my Jeep first. And my blinker light came in or it comes in tomorrow. So I'm going to pick it up from the post office on Tuesday. I'm going to take it down to this guy. He's going to he's going to put in my blinker for me. I also want to fix the there's a bolt. I don't have a nail. I have a bolt in one of my tires because I have really big rugged like all-terrain mud tires. So I want to go to Discount Tires, see if they can go fix that. And then on Wednesday, we're going out to Flagstaff. I've never been there before, so it should be a lot of fun. I'll make sure I post a lot of pictures. Silverstar says, I think I'm gonna make a butterfly pea flow rose and calendula cold infused tea today. Oh, that sounds freaking amazing. I want to make that too. She said, ooh, I put some blue lotus in that. I just bought more. I've been putting blue lotus in our, and it's been really good. Now I know what the Egyptians were, what they was talking about. All right, we have our buddy John. So John, let me know what we'll be pulling a card for. Perhaps it's a general check-in, but it could be something. Oh, John, as I say that, a big red-tailed hawk just went by. So that was cool. Silverstar says, congratulations, 100. That's awesome. And then we have our friend Janine. We'll definitely pull a card for her as well. Susan said, have fun. Hiking sounds so relaxing too with the green friend. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, and our friend Peg is here. What is up? All right, so yeah, John, just let us know. What are we pulling a card on? Let me get my deck ready. Ooh, the deck to use. What deck do we use? There's so many options. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let me just make some room here so I can whip out these cards for you guys. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes time for my birthday, first of all, I don't celebrate a day. I celebrate the whole damn month. So it's my birth month. So like I do something special every single day. But also I feel like there's a lot of shadows that come up around my birthday. So it's always like a huge time, like an opportunity for me to heal around my birthday. And it's also a wonderful time to just indulge and really take a look at myself and be in the present and just enjoy the entire month of June, baby. You know. Peg says, apologize, I missed the brew, but I will rewatch. Hey, no worries. Silverstar says, me too. I put in my special wacky tobacco. Nice. She says it's a great combination. Silverstar says, Peg, no worries. Welcome in, love. And Peg also always encouraging people to hit that like button. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, so okay. All right, doing well, doing well. Okay, so John says that we can go with Janine first. Excellent. Okay, so let's look at what Janine had. It says, any message from my guides about my experiences that I'll have in Glastonbury? Ooh, that'll be fun. Okay. Oh, what deck? What deck? Let's go with the Desert Illuminations Tarot. I'm really feeling this. I think a lot of my boxes are falling apart. I'm gonna have to start taping the bottoms. Okay, so let's do a little shuffle. Let's tap into our friend Janine's energy. Okay, so Janine, I'm hearing, what song is that? Oh yeah, it's a zombie. Yeah. In my head, zombie, zombie, zombie. So that's the song playing in my head. Let's see how that even connects to your reading. But that's what I heard when I was tapping into your energy. By the way, I love that singer's energy. Beautiful messages. I would say pretty awake to a certain degree. Okay. Jenny. Okay. Whoa. Oh. Oh. Dude, Janine, you're going to have a freaking awesome time. Okay. So, first, ignore whatever your ego says about this card. And let's dive into the real message. Okay, so it's the tower. But when I looked at it, it kind of looked like Glastonbury tour, um, which is interesting. So let's dive into this one because I feel like it's a really good message for you. Okay, I feel this in my heart. Okay, so this is something I think you're going to be feeling in your heart as well. So like I literally physically feel it in my heart. Um, so during your visit, when you're just in Glastonbury as the energy that's there, I feel that you, in this particular timeline, you did have a past life that took place in Glastonbury. And this visit isn't just random, like, oh, we just decided to go there, but you're going there for a very specific purpose, and that is to finally release some of that old life that is actually hindering you in this particular life. So, this is a very magical visit for you. This is not to say that you're going to go through a whole dark night of the soul when you're there. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like you're still going to enjoy yourself. I still feel like you're going to have a great time. There's going to be a lot of beautiful pictures that you're going to be able to take. Um, but I feel like there's just this energy and that you feel it right in your heart space, and it may even feel a little sad. So even though you'd be having a blast with, your family and everything, there might be this like hint of sadness, like like I don't know why, I feel a little sad. You might be like, I feel a little anxious almost. And what it is your current life connecting to that past life, and you just feeling it to a greater degree than usual. And so, if you start to feel that in your heart space during your trip, where you're like, I don't know, I just feel, I don't know, just a little under the weather or a little sad. Um, you might, um, you might even cough a couple of times, and you're like, "Am I getting a cough?" But you're not. You're not getting sick or anything like that. It's just your body telling you that there's something energetic that needs to be released. So if you can um, be cognizant of that. Remember maybe this reading during your trip and say, oh, I remember that my heart was going to be letting me know when there was something that was ready to be released, because of this past life that I had. So, if that happens, and if you have time, maybe when you're alone in your hotel room or wherever it is that you're staying, do a little meditation, go inwards, and just ask your heart, hey, heart, show me where I felt sadness in this lifetime or where I felt pain in this lifetime. And remember that you're just watching it like a movie. That it is something that has already passed. But technically, with the way the universe works, it's still also happening at the same time this current life is happening. So if that's true, then any love and healing that you send to the quote unquote past is going to be received because it's technically still in action. And you'll be able to feel that in your current life, in that present moment. So all you have to do is say, heart, show me where in this past life I felt sadness or I felt pain or suffering. Let it show you. Then just with all the love you have to give, you say, I show gratitude for being able to see this. Thank you for being a part of this life. But now I release you. I release you with healing and gratitude and love. And I also show that love and gratitude to myself. And afterwards, you may start to feel a lightness. All of a sudden, that sadness that was in your heart, start to feel that go away. So yeah, I feel like this is going to be a very healing, a very beautiful trip for you. So I feel like it's just little meditations here and there, just as you start to feel things in your heart space. just go into meditation, release it. But I think that you're going to have a glorious time. And it might be interesting that while you're walking around, looking at all these beautiful places, they might start to jog your memory. Like you don't know how you know, but something is over there, or I don't know how this works, but I just know it works this way. And that's just your past life memory, coming back to you. So I am excited for you. You'll definitely have to let us know how your trip went. um, So hopefully that connects with you. Ooh, look at our tea. It's already starting to turn pink. I love that. Okay, so John says, I blasted my wife's chakras open with an opal body grid to soothe her aching body, and now she's seeing shadows. Whoa. It says, I know she just needs to ground out and have been told how to. She just isn't doing what the guides are saying to do. She's stubborn, saying, I called something in. Just a second look. I could be wrong. Um, I mean, I mean that's the our ego's response to anything, right? I mean, that goes for all of our egos. Like something we don't understand, and since somebody was helping us with something, like the last person that helped us, you being the closest person, it's like easier to be like, it's you. It's your fault. You brought something in. When in reality, you could have helped to bring something in, but that something couldn't have connected to her if she didn't also match its vibration in some way. So maybe you helped to blow her chakras right open, but I feel like she wouldn't have allowed that. Her higher self wouldn't have allowed that if she wasn't ready. So it was kind of a 50-50. It was it took two to tango on that one. So you were like the guide, I feel like, in that respect. But also, she had to be the willing participant. And so anything that she's seeing now is just because it's in alignment with her vibration. And of course, the first things that we usually see are the shadows. We see shadow people, things just out of the corners of our eyes, until we really begin to understand that realm. Lucky for her, she has you as a husband who's been on this journey, so that you can show her that a lot of these things that she's seeing and witnessing, they can't harm her. Like literally nothing can harm her, no matter how negative they may seem. Um, it's only what she allows in. So if there's fear being pumped into them, then yes, of course, fear makes them stronger, but they can't hurt you technically. Um, so in that instance, it would be then, if we can call that in, then what light are we calling in? So we have to get her to start seeing what light, there is. That sometimes the thing that we see the most easily is the shadows, and that's just because we have an ego program too. So the ego kind of vibrates with shadows, but we have a higher self, so that also vibrates with you know higher dimensions. So you might have to aid her in seeing those things. John says, it's nothing negative as far as I can see. Okay, so did you want me to maybe pull a card and kind of see what's surrounding her, or maybe a card to see how we can best help her? Because, like you said, she is stubborn. So we might have to ask her higher self, like, how do we get around her stubborn nature? um, okay, let me have a little bit more tea. Mm. And one way I like to keep my tea warm is I always keep a tea towel on top of it, so that I always have nice hot tea in my mug. Oh, plus I realized that when you put a tea towel, or just a dish towel, on top of your mug of tea, the like all of the very fragile essential oils that are in these plants, that they they often disappear with the steam. But if you can keep as much of that steam inside your mug as possible, you get a little bit more of those, little bit more of the antioxidants, a little bit more of the essential oils. Not a whole lot if it was like a cold brew, but if you're trying to like save some of that, you might help it. um Janine says, ironically, I received 2 free tarot cards when I purchased the Oracle deck, the Tower and the Three of Wands. Thought maybe related to work, but think getting the Tower feels right, relating to my direction moving forward after the spiritual revelations. Exactly. So it's like tower moment, but I feel like this isn't like a traditional tower moment where everything has to crumble around you, because for the most part, this place that you're going to, a lot of that stuff is already crumbled, you know? So the kind of the tower's already happened, but you're just there to quote unquote pick up the pieces, see what's still lingering in your own energetic field, what you can release so that you could go into that Three of Wands moving forward. So nice. Silver Star says, give her a hamburger. Normally, I won't recommend that, or root foods. I had to do this when nothing else worked. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, I would say, like, for me personally, for grounding foods, chocolate. The darker, the better. If you want to go 99% dark, hell yeah, baby. Like, that'll ground you. It'll probably also make you poo, but that'll ground you. That's what I do, at least. It's like if I feel like I'm like, I've had too much of that wacky tobacco and little Tara has to come back to planet Earth. Um, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate does the thing for me. Or if I'm just like meditation and I'm just in an energetic wacky tobacco, having taken no herb, then yeah, dark chocolate for me anyway. And tea. John says, I think she's just vibing high and needs to diffuse the extra energy. Yeah, yeah, I totally understand that. Sometimes, oh gosh, let me let me ask my higher self this because my ego can't remember. But it was something about what you were saying about your wife, which was something that I had to do because sometimes I pick up too much energy because I don't I don't ever technically turn off my intuition. It's always running, it's always going. My crown chakra is always like it's always wide open. Um so that I can intuit the world, I can listen to the birds, listen to what they're saying. Um but inadvertently, I also pick up all the energy around me. And sometimes it's like just too much. It's not even negative, it's just like too much. So I have a I have a difficult time diffusing all that extra energy. And I'm trying to remember what the advice was from my higher self. Hold on, let me go in and see if I can pull something down from my higher self to your wife's higher self. So give me just a second. Okay. So my higher self said when it tries to ground me when I have way too much energy, which sometimes gives me restless legs at night if I don't ground myself before I go to bed. Um, that putting my hands in the soil, which is perfect, because I have these zucchini and squash that I'm tending to, by putting my hands in the soil, being around plants, it's very grounding. Also doing a grounding meditation, also going barefoot outside, also going around touching the leaves of the trees, also very grounding. You could take something in like Silver Star and myself were talking about. Silver Star was talking about eating a hamburger to ground the self. I have dark chocolate for me personally. I think it just kind of depends on the person. um, a perhaps an herbal tea, so something without caffeine, to help bring her back down to planet Earth. Yeah. Okay. So those were the higher self suggestions. Um, Silver Star says, after I did my Reiki 3 attunement, I couldn't ground. Oh wow. She said exactly. Yeah, it's like you're just like so open. You're like, but it's like so fun. You're like, oh my gosh. But at a certain point, we gotta come back down to Gaia. um, so yeah, John, I don't know if you don't mind me pulling a card, or if you wanted me to pull a card on something else, let me know. But I wanted to pull a card for your wife and see just a message from her higher self, maybe. Okay, so let's, whoa, okay. Just throw my cards around, why don't ya? We have 2 4s. Dude, my cards are doing this lately. It's either all 5s, all 6s, you got all 4s, and they just like flew out. So you have 2 4s here. You have the 4 of Cups, but you also have the 4 of Pentacles. So it's 2 cards actually. All right, it's a twofer. All right, so let's tap in and see what these cards are saying for your wife. Okay, I got you. Okay, so the message coming through is that I mean, obviously, I don't remember. I think you said that your wife was a Leo, or had, you know, some of that fiery type energy. But I was like, well, whatever it is, it's definitely not an air sign type energy. It's definitely not like a Libra or a Gemini, hello, or Aquarius. Um, but it's saying she's experiencing what it feels like to be like the energy of a Gemini, not like to be a Gemini, but the way Gemini energy is, or air sign type energy is, where air sign energy, there were just constantly curious, like there's a new thing, ooh, you know, like over here, you know. So if you've blown her chakras like wide open, her mind is like, ooh, you know, she's seeing all these things, feeling all these things. It's kind of being in an air element type energy where it's like, oh my gosh, and what is this? And oh my gosh, like what is this? You know? And there's it's just so much to look at. It's like being up close to a pointillism painting. So many little dots. It's like, oh my gosh, I wonder what picture this makes, and what do these dots make? But you know, once she grounds herself, which you know, you have some ideas to try to help her ground, then you being her most wonderful guide, you know, her loving doting husband, um, try to show her, maybe focus on one aspect at a time. Like if we're going to just work on looking at shadow people, let's just focus on that for now. Or if you have some third eye tingling, let's just talk about the third eye, but help her while she's grounding to perhaps focus on one thing at a time. That should help with her overwhelm, and also to help her stay grounded so that she's not feeling like she needs to learn about everything at once, but more just one thing at a time. She may have a tendency to want to just like move more quickly, but this is where you're going to have to help her with slowing down, one thing at a time, one foot in front of the other, but also showing her the benefits of slowing down and being present and being grounded. So yeah, the part of the freak out is that she's not been in a lot of air energy like that before. So it's just, you know, getting accustomed to the other aspects of ourself. Just like you know, it's human nature to grow out of our astrology signs, you know, basically. So you know, it's good for an air sign to get to know what it's like to be a fire sign or an earthy sign, or you know, water, whatever it may be. So all right, well, hopefully that helps her out. Thank you guys so much. Oops. John said, thank you. Double fire and an air Libra rising. Well, she's going to have to contend with her rising sign right now. All that fire. Oh my goodness. Excellent. So yeah, I think that she's very lucky to have you kind of helping her navigate this, since you guys well, I mean, this has kind of been your journey. Obviously, she's probably been on a spiritual journey herself, but yeah, I think this will be great. I love when everybody can just kind of help each other out. Oh, hey, Miss Squirrel. Oh my gosh. I wonder if she got the offerings I left in her little selenite triangle. Hopefully. Well, that was Miss Squirrel. John says that's why she locked up physically. Opal for water to soothe her body, Too much though. Sorry, I took over. Hey, no worries. I think, with these questions, they help us all. So it's not a it's not one-sided. It's for everyone. All right, Miss Kayla. All right. What are we pulling a card on? I'm so excited. So it could be general, could be higher self, could be a specific question. I love that the last taste you have on your tongue is blueberry. Delish, delish. Okay. Kayla throwing up the hearts. All right, let me get this deck all shuffled up for you. Oh, I cut the deck in half and look what card there is. All right, so a higher self message. You got it, Chiquita. Let's tap in, see if we get anything before we pull any cards here. It's like my energy scans the airwaves. It's scanning radio stations, like TV shows, movies. Okay, movies it is. Okay. All right, Kayla. So this is what I got when I was tapping into your energy. It was okay, well, obviously you've probably seen Ghostbusters. You've probably seen the first Ghostbusters. So this is from Ghostbusters 1, and it's right when they're the guys, the Ghostbusting dudes, the four dudes, they're getting ready to battle Zool. So they've arrived at Dana Barrett's basically apartment complex or condo or whatever it was, high rise that she was in. And they've just parked outside. They got the mayor to bring in the military, but then Zool tries to scare them and shake them up. So you see the ground is breaking apart, and and the police cars are falling in, stuff like that, and everybody is so scared. So oh no, they think that the ground has literally swallowed up the Ghostbusters, but then they peek out and they're not dead. They're going to be just fine, and everybody starts cheering, and then they go in. They're when they say they're going to show this chick how they do things downtown. um but that's where I feel like you're at right now, where it's like there's been some things that have been trying to like keep you down, trying to scare you into like and it could be negative polarity, it could be ego, it could be our shadows and stuff like that, try to be like, oh, I'm gonna keep you down. But then you're like, you know what, I'm actually not down, and I'm going to survive this, and I'm gonna kick some ass. So yeah, that's the scene in the Ghostbusters I was seeing. All right, so let's pull a card. Ooh, the Page of Chiles. So let's tap into this one. Okay, so your higher self is saying that you're, I guess, kind of going off like with the movie, where sometimes it does feel like we don't have any control. It does feel like sometimes things are just breaking down around us. Um, but you're on a brand new adventure right now. You're in a new chapter of your life. Your energy has shifted big time. And so, what you're used to may not be what's happening in your life anymore. So, everything may feel a little bit foreign or a little bit comfortable, a little bit different. But that's because you're in a different phase and you just haven't acclimated to that new phase yet. But you will, just like any phase. You've gone through, I mean, we've probably all gone through like hundreds and hundreds of different phases in our life, different chapters, both in the 3D sense, but also in the spirit. Just because things are a little bit bit different right now. They feel just a little off or a little uncomfortable. It's just that you're in a new energy. So just know that. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing your healing. Keep doing your meditations. Keep doing what lights you up. Keep surrounding yourself with loving, supportive people, because you're doing wonderful things. You're just kind of in the baby step stage of this next chapter, but eventually you will be the master of that chapter. You're just not quite there yet. You're still at the beginning, which makes it fun because then you get to write this chapter however you wish. It's your story. Just like the Ghostbusters. You know, I don't know why I'm thinking Ghostbusters so much, but think about when they were battling Zool, and Zool was giving them a choice. Think of Zool as the ego. The ego thinks it's pretty badass. I'm like this, freaking. I come from the depths of darkness, or wherever the hell our egos come from, reptilians. But it wants to scare you. And think of the Ghostbusters as the higher self. They're not really scared, but um, they know that their intention is what matters. And so when Zool says you have a choice, choose the form of your destructor. And so it's Ray that decides to think about the Marshmallow Man. And so then we got this Marshmallow Man. But what the point is, like, if you want to look at it from higher perspective, is that they created their own reality. It wasn't Zool that brought in the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was to show the guys, or to show people in general, that you literally are magic. You literally manifest what you want. So if somebody tells you that a destructor is coming and you want to believe them, well, then you're going to manifest a destructor. If somebody tells you, oh, you're gonna manifest angels, you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna manifest angels. But um it's not really about listening to what's outside of you or listening to that ego, but going inwards and saying, what do I actually want to manifest? What kind of reality do I want? And so in the end, they wanted the reality where there was no bad guy anymore, and there was no more Zool. That everything was going to go back to normal, that they were going to save the city. And in this case, you will right the ship again at a certain point, but it's a beginning stage, so you're going to stumble a little bit, but that's part of the journey. It's part of the learning process. Everything's going to be a-okay. um okay, so let's go back here. Silver Star says, lurking moving plants. Nice. Oh, freedom for planets. All right, we can definitely pull a card for you as well. Kayla was asking Susie where the tea is from, and Susie said it is Yogi brand tea, blueberry green tea, from any supermarket, and it is organic. Um, all right. So Freedom for Planet says, Freedom for Planet Earth is coming. Am I in a twin flame relationship? Are they single? Are we going to be together? Do my Kundalini activate? How do I bring it into my third eye? Okay. All right. All right. So let's take a look at twin flame, kind of how you can connect to that within yourself. Connect to the energy, either to nurture a twin flame relationship or to bring that in. Let's see. First, again, we'll tap into any music, movies that pop in. That's just how my intuition works. So, I mean, let's see here. Okay, so hopefully stick here. Okay, so we have the Tower card here. And that's interesting because I did give it a really good shuffle. So it's coming back around. Um, so it feels like you may not be in a twin flame relationship quite yet, but you do have the opportunity to be in a twin flame relationship. But it feels like how you get to that relationship means that both halves of yourself are blown wide open. Meaning, what a twin flame is, it's one singular soul that has been split in half because is to get uncomfortable. So it feels like when, and it feels like it's pretty close in your life, what time of your next big ego death, which sounds like it's going to be this year, which sounds a little scary, but it's only scary to the ego. It's not scary to your higher self. Your higher self is more than ready for this. In fact, your higher self is trying to call this in. um yeah, silver stars, like internet gods, come on. So as you're going through this like tower moment, this ego death, you're now open to a new type of healing, which then puts you in alignment with your twin flame, who will inadvertently be going through the same thing at the same time. You two just haven't met yet. So if you're willing to go through that dark night of the soul, if you're willing to embrace that tower moment, if you're willing to embrace that ego death, then you will have the opportunity to see your twin flame, that person coming into your sphere. But remember, it's not going to be like a soulmate. That twin flame is going to challenge you. It'll be like you guys are polar opposites. In fact, you will be polar opposites. You're going to like the opposite of everything. What you love will be their dislikes. Their dislikes, what they love will be your dislikes. But that's so that you have of your soul, just as you are the other half of see that you guys meet up. But yeah, I would say a little bit later this year. Straight away, I was getting September, somewhere around there. But that's dependent on your free will decisions at this time for the timeline. Okay. Kayla was saying for the person I was reading for, if they watch the replay, they might get the parts that they've missed. I'm terribly sorry about the internet. I do not control the interwebs, but yeah, it's having issues. Janine said, lagging, having my grandson all day tomorrow, so only got tonight. Really insightful reading. Bye, everyone. Silver Star says, a high vibe message. Notice that happens when it's a powerful message. Janitha says, I thought I'd sent the message twice, but not showing. Thanks for the reading, Tara. Going to start doing some packing. Have my grandson tomorrow. I hope you have safe travels. Yes, yes. All right. So thank you to everybody who allowed me to read for them today. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and did a cold brew tea with me. Thank you for everybody who joined us in on the weekly reading. I do want to do a guided meditation for you right now. So we'll see how that goes. Just a simple little meditation. I think I want to do a grounding meditation. I think grounding. Sometimes we need something just simple like that from time to time. So let's see. What can we? Maybe we'll look down here for our guided meditation. Something fun for us to look at. Ooh, you know what I want? I want my little plant. Let's meditate with my plant. Heck yeah. Susie says, we love you and appreciate you. Thank you. Katie says, will you sing for us? Ooh, maybe I could. Maybe I'll do that right after our guided meditation. Okay, give me one moment. I just want to grab my plant. Okay, this is crookneck squash. Everybody, crookneck squash. Hi, crookneck squash. All right, we'll look at him or her, I'm not really sure, for our meditation today. And we're just going to do a bit of grounding. All right, you guys. And you could find yourself lying down, sitting in a chair, perhaps sitting on the floor. Perhaps you are sitting underneath a tree. And I want you to bring your awareness to your breath, in and out. It moves through the lungs, perhaps pushing it down into the diaphragm. And we feel this relaxation tingling from the top of our head, moving down our jaw and our neck. Breathing in that soothing energy and feeling relaxed and shoulders, feeling them drop away from our ears. That relaxation moving down your arms and torso. Continuing to breathe in that life force energy as we feel that movement down into our hips and our legs, just relaxing, just feeling the legs go limp all the way down to the tippy toes. And realizing that every exhale we have is just helping us to remove all that stagnant energy, all that excess energy, as we continue to breathe in calm, pure, breathing out what does not serve us in this present moment. And now, I want you to visualize your favorite plant. This could be a tree. Perhaps it's a tree that grows outside your door. Perhaps this is a little house plant that you have within your home. Perhaps it's a flower that you see right outside your door in your place of work. But you choose your favorite plant. And once you have that plant in your mind's eye, I want you to look at it in detail. What color or colors does it have? Does it have leaves or petals? If it has petals, do they seem delicate or durable? How many colors does it have? Where is the pollen? Is it easily accessible? Does it seem to attract a lot of pollinators? The stem of this plant, is it wiry? Is it stocky? Is it thorny? The leaves, take a look at their shape. Are they more almond shaped or perhaps jagged? Perhaps they branch off into a sort of symmetry for itself. Or perhaps its leaves are more needles, perhaps more needle-like. But whatever the plant is that you have chosen, I want you now to imagine that it is larger than life, that this plant is now bigger than you are. And this plant is inviting you to step inside of it and become part of it. So we step forward now into the energy of this plant. And now we feel as this plant feels. Breathing in carbon dioxide, breathing out oxygen. How does that feel as a plant? Where do you feel it in your plant body when you breathe in the exhalation of humans and animals, insects? How does it feel to know that what you expel brings them life? What a beautiful process, magical process that happens here. How does it feel to hold up your arms towards the sun? What does photosynthesis feel like? What does it feel like on your leaves, your petals? What does it feel like to be tickled by the bees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds that most likely come to pass and to greet you with a little taking of your pollen, your nectar? Now feel down into those roots. Is it one large taproot? Do you have several little roots branching off? Do you require lots of moisture or very little? The plant that you feel most connected to is trying to teach you a lot about who you are and what you need at this time. So, if you have chosen a plant that is drought tolerant, then perhaps this plant is reminding you that it's time for a little balance. Perhaps we've been taking in a little bit too much, and we might be drowning ourselves to a certain extent. Or perhaps you are looking at a lily or another plant that takes quite a bit of water, or a lotus flower whose roots live in the water. Allow the plant to speak to you. And in this moment, just feel relaxed. You are protected. You are grounded in this beautiful stasis that you are in. It doesn't appear that you are doing much, but you're actually doing quite a lot. In this non-movement, as it might appear to those that move faster or more quickly, like the hummingbird or the human, you move, but at your own pace, a little bit more slowly, a little bit in your own time. Allow this plant to show you what medicine you need in your life. Continue. And we are helping others at the exact same time. So when you feel ready, thank your plant for showing you all of these things. This plant, just as much as this plant is you. You may step out of your plant, feeling rejuvenated and grounded, and step back into your human body, perhaps wiggling your fingers and toes, taking a nice deep breath in, and a little stretch. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. All right. So I'm curious to hear what kind of flowers or plants or trees you guys were during your meditation. Susie says KWT is the best. KDS worker says stasis does a lot. John said the corpse flower lives in a symbiotic relationship with ants, looking at life as a collective endeavor. Wow. John said, thanks, lovely people. KDS was bamboo. I was actually imagining that I was a little squash, which actually requires a lot of water at this time. So warmth, heat, and water. So I can look into what that means for in my life. Okay, so before we end this chat, there was a request for a little bit of singing. You guys don't have to stick around for our chat is technically over, but maybe I will end on a little song, and then yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. I'll send some pictures from my birthday, if I'm not too stony baloney. I'll send some pictures from Flagstaff. When we leave on Wednesday, we'll just be there for a day. I think. I don't know. Maybe it'll be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the plans. I'm just here to party. Okay. So yeah, I'll definitely post those things to Instagram if you guys are interested. Kayla stepped into the tree outside of her house. Beautiful. Silver Star chose marigold, planted several this year. Lovely. I love the marigolds. Just, that's the tits, man. John said, happy solar return. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's see. What song could I sing? I don't know. Did we go opera? Did we go musical theater? Oh, let's go musical theater. I love Pocahontas's song, Colors of the Wind. Let's do it. Okay. And then we'll go, and then we'll go, and then we'll go. I mean, like I said, you don't have to listen, but okay. Oh, everybody wishing happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. Susie says, thank you, everyone, for being here. Katie S. Worker says, yes. Yeah, Pocahontas, one of my favorite Disney cartoons. When I was younger, I wanted to be Pocahontas. Okay. Do I remember the words? Yes. I'm like, it's been a while since I sang the song. Okay. Now I got the music playing. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a lung, has a spirit, has a name. What was You think the only people who are people are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon? Or ask the grinning bobcat why he grins? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountains? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you. And for once, never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends. And we're all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How, how, if you cut it down, then you will never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or whether we are white or coppered skin. We need to sing with all the voices of the mountains. You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint with all the colors of the wind. There you go. Thank you. Um, all right. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. Superstar says, I hope you have the best day ever. I'm hearing SpongeBob sing the song Best Day Ever. Susie saying happy birthday. Thank you. Thank you. KDS is saying musical theater is so awesome. Aw. Thank you guys so much. Silverstar says, I want to be the Little Mermaid as a kid. Oh, me too. I want to be Little Mermaid and Pocahontas. Johnson standing ovation. Ah, thank you guys. Well, hopefully you enjoyed today's live chat. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. And hey, we got to end on a little Colors of the Wind, you know. I mean, that song speaks to my soul. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous week, an amazing week for those who are having birthdays. And I think Janine said that her grandson is turning 1 pretty soon. So happy birthdays all around. Love you guys. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Thanks for joining me. Peace out. Bye, guys.